Hello, everybody. Today's guest is the Side Hustle Experiment, and the title of the video is going to be how the Side Hustle Experiment grew his six-figure reselling business from scratch. So, go ahead and introduce yourself, John, to our audience, just in case they don't know who you are.
Yeah, so my name is John Mascarello, Side Hustle Experiment on Instagram, on YouTube as well. I used to work in marketing. I've been reselling now for about 4 years or 3 years. I went full time 2 years ago. I just celebrated that anniversary 2 weeks ago. I sell mostly used books and media on Amazon and eBay, and I am starting to get into online arbitrage as well.
All right. Now, first of all, tell people what state you live in, where you're from. Everybody always wants to know that.
I'm in Pennsylvania.
All right. So you're in Pennsylvania, and tell us a brief synopsis because you didn't always used to be a reseller. You used to work a corporate job like the rest of us.
Yeah.
And so tell us real quick what your background is, and then tell us kind of how you transitioned from being a reseller. So give us a backstory real quick.
Sure. So basically, I worked in marketing, social media marketing, and also marketing. I was a copywriter. I just didn't really. There was one time when I first got the job, they were just like, "Hey, if you do a good job, we'll give you extra money." 3 months in, I did. I got the money 3 months in, and then when it came time for the 12-month, like after I was there a year, I was expecting a raise, and they're like, "No, we already gave you one." And I was like, no, like that's not how this was set up. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? Like, I don't want anyone else in charge of like how much I could make. Like, if I want to work hard or do a really good job, like I want to be the sole beneficiary of that and not someone else. So basically, I started a Gary Vee video. He's going to flea markets and flipping or garage sailing rather. And I was a huge Gary Vee fan. I still am. And I was like, wow, like if he's doing this, like I could definitely do it. Like he doesn't have to do this. Like looks like he's having fun. And I was like, you know what? Let me just try it. So I ended up buying a set of 4 chairs. I think on OfferUp, and basically listed them on Craigslist. So I bought them for $10, and someone bought them like a week later for 40. And I was like, wow, like this is pretty crazy. And I just started doing it. I started with Facebook Marketplace. I sold pretty much used furniture, and I was buying like tables for 100, selling them for 250. Basically, I realized that I had to be physically in my location to make sales. I learned that the hard way during the holidays, where like all these people are asking me to buy my inventory, but I was in New York, like enjoying the
Yeah.
holidays with my family, and I'm like, wow, like I need to like figure something else out. Then I saw a Reezy Resells video about how he went to thrift stores and was scanning books and selling them on Amazon. So I was like, this seems like a crazy scam, but like whatever, like I'll put like $100 at it and see like what happens. And like sure enough, I was like scanning books and like one came up that was selling for like $30 or something. And then the back of the book it said it was selling for like 25. I'm like, this is not even like this is crazy. Anyway, like I got a couple. I like figure out how to send them to Amazon, and literally a week or two later, they sold. And I was like, this is insane. And I just basically went all in and just started with books and going to different thrift stores and then going all around my area, then outside areas like an hour or two away. Uh, since like the supply wasn't like super like big here, and then eventually got into bulk books, which is like buying 1,000 pounds of books at a time. I got a storage unit, 2 storage units, started out of there. Really like bulk better than thrifting for books, just because it's just so much easier to have someone come to you, deliver them. You don't have to compete with people. My source is exclusive to me. Um, and then probably about 6 months ago, I got a warehouse uh, to further expand. And then basically restock limits hit, which was very bad for booksellers. So we're doing more merchant fulfilled, which means when the book sells on Amazon, I keep it at my warehouse and I'll send it to the person. We still do FBA, but not as much. And now I'm getting into online arbitrage, which is like buying stuff from like Walmart and Target.com, getting it shipped to you, then you ship it to Amazon.
All right, yeah, a couple of quick things here. One, guys, if you guys heard what John was saying, is everybody always talks about this glass ceiling, where it's like you get to a certain point at your corporate job, and it's like you're like, I don't know what more I can do. You're like, I'm working nights, weekends, holidays. I'm showing up to work early. I'm the first guy here, last guy here,
Yeah.
and I still feel like I can't get a promotion and get any higher at your job.
Yeah,
Whereas
that
being an
was the other
entrepreneur,
problem. It's like, oh, the company's not doing well. Like I have like no control over that either.
right? Right, and then you go to them and they say, "Well, the economy or the sales are bad." I'm like, "Well, bro, I'm not in marketing. I'm not in the sales
Yeah.
department. Like, I can't. Only thing I can do is control what I can do. Like, I know remember when I was working my corporate job, I'd be like, "Yeah, but I loaded 10 trucks last night. Nobody else is here has loaded half of that. Like, can you guys work something out with me?" And they just wouldn't budge. So I know how that feels. So were you kind of reselling part time on the side before you quit your job, or
Yeah,
did you
so
just
100%. So I was selling, doing it nights, weekends. I'll tell everyone, I had about 6 months in an emergency fund before I quit, and probably about 15K in the business account. Just knowing that, like, it'd be a little rocky. And sure enough, right after I quit, like 3 or 4 months, like coronavirus happened. And yeah, so that
right?
was definitely made it a little rocky, but figured that out and kind of started selling more on eBay actually, and that's kind of how the
Yeah.
eBay side of things started.
So John, before we cut the video off, you got to give us your top 3 tips or piece of advice. If someone's maybe they're not working a dead end job, but they're at a corporate job and they've kind of reached their limit. For me, it took me about 10 years because when I got hired at my corporate job, I think I was making like $12, $13 an hour, and then gradually over a 10 years period of time, I got to the point where I'm making 80,000 a year, and they were just like, okay, we don't need this guy anymore. We'll outsource your
Right.
department. So once you get to that certain point and you climb that corporate ladder and you feel like, man, I've maxed this out. Maybe they don't want to quit their job, or maybe they just want to make some money on the hustling on the weekends, work doing, reselling. What would be 3 pieces of advice to help them like grow and scale their business?
So 3 pieces of advice. I've been giving this advice a lot lately. It's going to take you about 3 to 6 months to get up and rolling. Like you're going to need some capital. I know everyone says, "Oh, you can start for free," and like, yes, you can, but like, you're not going to really get the results that like you need to like pick up momentum. Like you have to assume like, right, you're going to start Amazon or eBay or whatever you're going to do. Like you got to get it set up. Now Amazon does an interview. Like you got to find stuff to buy. You got to send it to Amazon. Then they got to check it in. Like it is like it's going to take you a good 2 to 3 months before like you even start to see sales. A lot of people say, "Oh, my balance is negative." Well, like it's just because Amazon always gets paid before you do, and like you just got to like keep going and like basically trust the process. So I'd say two, one, just like realize it's going to take some time. Give it at least like 6 months, or like if you don't like the process, like don't even like do something else. Number two, I would say it's a lot harder than it looks. A lot of people like you're on Instagram, you're on YouTube, and I try to do on my channel like be like, yeah, today was like a crappy day, or like this didn't go well, or that. Like it's not all like, oh, like I sold thousands of dollars worth of books today, or it's more like you just really got to like stay in it and like really enjoy the process, because like if you don't, you're gonna want to quit, and it's just you got to like really stick with it. So yeah, realize that it is going to be work. Eventually, like I'm kind of in like a very growing pain stage where I need to hire probably another person. So like there's always that balance, but yeah, like there is a chance like it will be less work once you can afford to hire people and stuff like that. But it's always going to require like work. It's not like passive income like you see everywhere. Um, and number three, oh man, I would say try to do something in an area or an industry that like you enjoy. Like you don't want it to be another job, basically.
Yeah.
I love like books, you know what I mean? So like looking them up, I find it like very interesting to see like, oh, this first edition it sold for this much or that much, or I really enjoy it. If I was just, I don't know, I feel like selling like soda, I wouldn't really care or whatever.
Right.
And I definitely think, yeah, you just gotta find that niche. And I'd also say I'd say actually I'll do number four. So number four would be network with other people. Um, I can't even tell you like how beneficial it's been for me. I mean, my business like skyrocketed after I started meeting people, asking them questions. Now the network is just insane. Where like I could just text someone and be like, "Hey, like, have you ever had this?" And like I get an answer in like a minute. Like you don't have to waste time Googling and all this stuff. I mean, it took a while to get to that point. Um, but yeah, just ask questions. Everyone's like super friendly, always willing to help. So I would say that, and watch YouTube videos, leave comments, and yeah,
Yeah. For sure, yeah, reaching out to people and having a community of people is important, and it's the same way on eBay as well. Just like John was talking about Amazon, on eBay, when you first get started, they're going to have a listing limit of how many items you can list in your eBay store. When you first start making sales, they're going to like hold the money in another account, and you're just going to be like, what's going on? Where's my money? I made the sale. Like it's like, think about when you're working a job and they're going to put you on a probation period. But they don't know who you are. You don't know who they are. So it's one of those things. So it's going to take time. It's not something that's going to just happen overnight. But before we let you go, John, I have one more thing I wanted to ask you about. What was your transition like from working out of the storage unit to getting a warehouse and having employees? How many hours do you think you put in a week doing your gig as a reseller to make the amount of money that you make? Because I've seen you on Instagram and some of your YouTube videos. You have big gaylords of books and stuff. You bring them in. You got to sort through them. Some of them may have pages ripped out of them or all dented and dinged. Some of them are good. Some of them's junk. Then you have duds that aren't worth any money. So, I mean, it's a process. It's not like you just show up and you just work. Hey, I did 2, 3, 4 hours today and I go home. Like, you put a
right.
lot of time into it, right?
Yeah, so when I was in the storage unit, it was probably 60, 70 hours a week. Just, and that's obviously by choice because I want to I want to like crush it. I don't want to just be like, I could have done less, but I didn't want to do that. And in a storage unit, it's definitely much different. Space is a big factor. So, and not having equipment. So when I moved to the warehouse, it used to take me almost 2.5 hours to go through a Gaylord of books. I just had
Yeah.
my telephone, like a scanner, and like I would cut it out and like dive into the bottom. And it was just a mess. Now we do it in like 45 minutes. We have like a machine that basically tilts the pallet onto a table. Me and the helper, he'll like flip them over. I'll scan them, and we just go through it. We put stuff aside for eBay. So it's much quicker. It also gives you the ability to do a lot more with the duds. So we have buyers for kids books, history books, little tiny like romance novel books. Like it allows you to store that, have extra space. We have DVD buyers. So we have a lot of different buyers, and that's really not possible when you're working in a storage unit. So you basically have to go through the books and get rid of them so you get the next ones, and it doesn't really lend a lot of I guess space to keep things for other people.
All right. Awesome. Hey, so do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom you could leave our audience with?
I would say the best piece of advice I could give is like you have to just be consistent. Like you got to do it every day. Like there are some days you don't feel like doing it, but just do like the tiniest thing to move the business forward. Like it could be like messaging someone on Instagram, or it doesn't necessarily have to be like going out and sourcing or scanning, or maybe it's watching like a YouTube video or something, but just something to push the business forward. Obviously, like you're gonna have days where you do massive amounts of work, but I would say just do what works for you and just kind of try to get something done every day.
Yeah, that's a good saying, guys. If you just make a little bit of progress every week, every month, you'll get to the finish line. Go ahead and follow our guest. All the links are going to be down below. You can follow him at Side Hustle Experiment. His YouTube and Instagram links are going to be in the description down below. Until then, till I'll catch you guys in the next video, go follow our guest. All the links are going to be down below. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.